Welcome back to the Cosmic Mistress podcast. I'm Amanda, and today we have one of my best, amazing, awesome friends. And my phone alarm is here too.
Welcome.
Her name is Saint. Saint, tell us a little bit about you and what you do.
I am a somatic sexologist and a master play facilitator. And I help people really understand the connection between their emotions and their sexuality and how they're all just sensations and how much fun it is when we play with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What can you tell us a little bit about the workshops that you just did? What were the workshops around?
Yeah,
Envision?
so I just did 2 workshops at Envision, and they're very similar, but coming from like 2 different directions. One was the Erotic Flame, and that's all about how you activate your life force energy inside of you, which can either cultivate creativity or your sexual desire. And they're very similar as to how you activate them and charge them. It's very much your life force energy and the cord that runs through your body. So we started with just some breathing and sound of getting into the body and having some self-love practices around your body, guided meditation. We start, with your heart and your shoulders, your neck, your head, and just go all the way through the body and give it some extra love that we often in our busy lifestyle don't sit down and hold ourselves as much as we should. And then really carrying that energy throughout into our desire and some of our funnest fantasies that maybe we don't want to share with others, but think about a lot and just watch how it emanates out of you and into your life and the rest of the world. Holy Mess was the second one, and that one is also a lot about getting into the body and play. We did a practice where we got into groups and then had like competitive play, this game called Lightsabers. I don't know who made it up, but I used to play.
I remember you're excited about this one.
Yeah. I used to play with it with my siblings. And so just bringing in that element of like the childhood play and innocence of like, okay, who's going to win? Who's going to lose? Like who can be smarter than the other one? And just really seeing how that lands as an adult or as a woman who yes, it facilitates a lot of fun, maybe if they have kids, but sometimes forgets and gets really serious into their day-to-day lifestyle. Mm-hmm. So once we activate the play, then we go into the emotions and the feelings and needs and sensations that come through the body, and being able to hold each other in those sensations instead of either trying to fix the other person or trying to solve their problems, and just holding space, and how much just doing that subtle shift for someone can really open them up. And I don't think solve your problems is the right thing, but able to figure out what your needs are to get to the next step.
Yeah, and this was just for women, correct? It was all women.
Yeah, I held it in the red tent.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it creates a lot of space for whatever is alive that we maybe haven't given space for yet. It just gives it space to exist, and whether or not it moves or it goes away, it doesn't really matter. Yeah. Because it's there and we can see it now.
Yeah.
I love the idea too of, since we have similar backgrounds, we've used, pleasure as a mechanism to create more safety as well for going into some of these more challenging emotions to experience, or even trauma sometimes. But I also love the idea of using play as an energy to also create safety, because it's you're telling your system not only is it safe to do some of these more sometimes icky things,
Yeah.
you know, sadness, anger, whatever it is,
Yeah.
but it can be playful and fun.
Yes.
Yeah. I love that.
You can kind of gamify anything. It's I tell my kid this all the time. It's like nothing's real. It's all just a game.
Mm-hmm.
So
I love that. And I'm a firm believer, like, if you have kids, of course you're hopefully playing with your children. but also you're usually the one leading, and it's so much more structured than if, like, I think moms need the most play.
Yeah.
Out of besides children, but I think that it's so supportive for remembering the little girl that's still in us, and there's still space for all of that. It makes it so fun.
It does.
Yay. So today we're going to talk a little bit about astrology, and we're going to talk about sisterhood, sister wounding stuff.
Yeah.
Saint has asked me to read a little bit of her astrology, her birth chart. So today we're going to focus on North Node, South Node, Pluto aspects. And the way that I like to use a birth chart is to figure out what is necessary, what is the energy as far as what are we needing to embody to grow into more of living from our soul. Like, what did we come into this lifetime already knowing, or already mastering, and maybe we have some like shadowy tendencies within that because we've mastered it and it's so familiar. And what is more challenging for us to step into, but it's really what our soul is craving more than anything. So we'll start there. That's the North and the South Node.
Yeah, I really love thinking that I've mastered something and then somebody showing me like, actually, you could learn a little bit more.
Well, and you're here to really master your needs and your desires and to become an authority, because your North Node is in Capricorn in the first house. So you have 5 planets in the first house that are all in Capricorn. So you have your North Node, you have your Uranus, you have Neptune, you have Saturn, and then you have your Mercury. So having a stellium basically means you have a powerhouse of energy sitting in that house. So first house is ego, it's identity, it's persona, personality. It's really you. It's your front-facing brand and everything that you've come here to embody as your own. So with it being Capricorn, your North Node being there, that means you're really here to embody a soul that is an authority figure. And not an authority figure in a way that's like over dominating or like, look at me, I know all these things. It's someone who has really mastered their craft and mastered their identity of who they are. So knowing yourself really deeply, knowing your needs, your desires, and living from the embodiment of that. And so with that being your North Node, the energy is the same, because we would look, so your North Node is Capricorn, which is ruled by Saturn. So we would look at that placement, which is also in your first house. So what that means is dedicating yourself to discipline, to being an authority, and to walking away from your South Node, which is in Cancer. So Cancer in the 7th house. So in past lives, you have mastered being the nurturing presence, mother figure in one-on-one relationships and intimacy. So you're really good at that. So you've come into this lifetime already knowing how to do that, which is great. And this also makes sense as far as like, it shows up beautifully in romance. It shows up beautifully like with being a mom, with being a coach, with being of service. You have that nurturing presence. The shadow side of that is becoming the martyr.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah. So becoming the martyr in any of your one-on-one relationships, using that because it's so familiar, using that as a way to avoid becoming the authority of your own life.
Yeah.
And so that resonates?
Yeah. Very much so. Just like even looking back, trying to figure out like who I am and instantly what I was like attracted to at a young age in my 20s. Of like, getting into these like one-on-one relationships. And even now, like pivoting from being a mom all the time, and like, okay, this feels like really comfortable.
Totally.
And now
So
that
easy.
she's like moving off to college, I'm like, okay, well, now I have to do something else.
Yeah, because there's all of this space now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've noticed for myself too, because I have similar placements with North and South Node. Even when I know that I should be making choices that are more in alignment for what I need and what I desire, it's so much easier to do the other thing because it's so familiar. Like there's times where I'm like, it would be so easy for me to give up everything and just be a stay-at-home mom. Yeah. And like just take care of them and let that consume me. But I would be so unfulfilled and my soul would be so sad if I chose to do that. And also that's not what I want my kids to do. But it's interesting how familiar and easy that feels. Yeah, even when like you know it's not the right thing.
A default like pattern autopilot, like, okay, I could just do this and it would be so easy. But usually when it's easy, there's so many other challenges that come up because you're not fulfilling your purpose and what you're trying to
totally. And
life.
That's where like the martyr energy or even like passive aggressiveness or like that sense of showing up in obligation versus like because it's pleasing to you starts to leak in, and that doesn't feel good for anyone, which I'm very familiar with that too.
I think that's part of like why we met when we met was we were like both really tired of like being the martyr and like, you know, this doesn't serve me anymore. Yeah.
So what do you feel like because I see you as like this North Node in Cap first house. Like I see you as that, and I've watched you shift over the years.
Yeah.
What do you feel like has been like a few things or just even one thing? What has been most supportive for you to step more into that?
Let me think.
Or what even did you have to let go of?
Those are both two really good questions. I think that the thing that was most supportive was like being more vocal about what I wanted, because it was so easy for people to like project on me what I was or what I was good at. And so instead of like following their projection of being like, actually, no, I really want to be doing this type of work and I really want to help women, and just being more vocal about it really helped me pivot into that space of authority that I like so desperately was longing for.
Yeah.
And
sounds like boundaries too. Like I've watched you too, like over the years, be so strong and firm with your boundaries.
Yeah.
Now, which is so helpful. But the voice, I feel like too, when we met, that's really when it started for me too, is like having the safety and actually voicing the needs. And because of the nature of what it was we were working in, which was sex, sexuality, and all of that, we were like in the deepest, most intimate spaces of dealing with voice and desire, I would say, which for me was very transformative and very powerful too. Like you can't go to a more intimate place where you're needing to voice your needs and desires.
Yeah, absolutely. I think going through that work and laying down the lines, and it was also like layered. It was, I feel like spoon-fed to us for the first couple months. And so that felt good before we like jumped into the deep end of the pool. But yeah, really voicing what those boundaries were helped me voice them in other parts of my life. So like if it didn't bring me joy or pleasure, like why would I do that? And no longer feeling the obligation because somebody thinks or assumes that I would enjoy that or would be good at that. And that was hard because like we just mentioned of like being the martyr and like, okay, I'm really good at it. And they really want me to like help support their project.
And that feels really good. It feels so good to be good at something and to be needed.
Yeah, it does. So yeah, like me letting go of like event production was like very challenging for me and took me a couple of years. And at first it was like, okay, I'm only going to take like 2 or 3 projects on.
Because that's what you were doing before coaching. You were doing event production for music festivals.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So I created a boundary for myself. I was like, okay, which of these events like bring me the most joy?
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, these are the ones that I'll commit to. And then I did that. And then it was like the next level of boundaries of like, okay, I did these events. Were they still fulfilling? And it felt like I was just like checking off a box of like, yes, we had a sold out event and I've always wanted to do that. So like I can mark that off of my checklist of things that I've done. But there was nothing that was like, okay, this is gonna help me get to my next level.
Right.
And who I want to become and like share my gifts with the world.
Mm-hmm.
So then after the following year, it was like another like, okay, no, I'm not doing that anymore. And then I dabbled in throwing my own intimate events. So very like private.
Fusing those two worlds.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is a beautiful thing.
It was a lot of fun. And just realizing from like one of the last larger events that I had done was like there was a big gap in festival culture, music culture, the transformative scene of like there wasn't a lot of sex education and people didn't really know much about boundaries or consent, and it was something that like everybody talked about but nobody had actually like practiced.
Yeah, the skill set was not there yet.
Yeah,
it's so interesting because it's like, yeah, music festivals cut to let's do all the sexy stuff, but like,
yeah,
where's the in between of getting there?
Yeah. How did we jump this cliff?
Yeah.
So that inspired me to really craft these like intimate experiences that kind of felt like a micro festival, in creating this like safe container to learn about your sexuality. And I brought in all of these wonderful facilitators that you could like dip your toes in and try different workshops, how to get sensual, how to play with maybe new toys, explore like kinks and fetishes. So they were very successful and I had a lot of fun, but ultimately I was still like hiding behind this like producer persona instead of really owning and embodying like, no, I need to be teaching in those spaces and not just like creating the event that facilitates that. So
for everyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. So what you're speaking to too is your Pluto placement, which is in Scorpio, which is in the 8th house. So Scorpio is very like sexy stuff. It's all sexy stuff, mystery, transformation, death, rebirth. And it's exalted. It's in like the best placement it can be in the 8th house because it's ruled by that. So 8th house is all mystery, sexy stuff, death, rebirth. So that makes sense for you because that's not only your personal for transformation, but also something that you're bringing to the world. Yeah. And so for the embodiment of your soul, what's really important to continue that journey is the opposite house, which is your 4th house of like physical home, sense of home and emotional safety within yourself, sense of belonging. Yeah. Which is in Taurus, which is all like comfort, pleasure, safety, security, sensuality. So having that present in your physical body and also your physical home allows you to continue to have those transformational experiences for yourself and bringing that to the world as well.
Yeah. Yeah. That resonates. Anytime I just have like a dance practice with myself, it usually is very sensual, and that's when I have like the biggest breakthroughs for myself and like holding myself. So
that and baths, you're definitely like one of the other women close to me that takes a lot of baths.
Yeah, baths, hot springs, that's my favorite thing to do.
Yeah, I would say too, like earlier when I asked you, like one of the most supportive things for stepping more into like the North Node, I think too, and correct me if I'm wrong, but something that's been really important for me too is slowness. Like slowing down, the pacing almost to like, not always, you can move quickly when it's aligned for you.
Yeah.
But when it doesn't feel good, allowing yourself to slow down almost to the point of like active rebellious slowness because the whole world is moving so quickly, and it makes it a little like kinky and playful of like, oh, everyone is moving so fast and doing so many things. I'm just gonna lay here naked and not give a fuck.
Yeah. Absolutely. Sometimes I feel like that is a part of my procrastination, but
oh, totally. You have to be mindful of that.
Yeah, of like, why would I put on clothes when I could just, lay here for 10 more minutes?
I also think that's like the shadow side of the feminine embodiment coaching space, is adopting that attitude as a way to basically provide your transformation. Or even like, all of the memes around like, I just have orgasms and I make money shows up in my account.
Yeah.
Like, that's how I make my money. It's like, no, but like, yes. And like, you still have to be disciplined and actually like have structure and do the things.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's all a polarity practice of like creating the structure for your like feminine to flow. Mm-hmm. Because if you're like feminine just flows all over the place, then like you don't know where anything is and you don't know how to get anything
water
done.
Everywhere, but you can't actually take a drink.
Yeah. It's like keep missing your mouth.
Yeah. So let's shift into sisterhood stuff. And you and I have had our own journey with this. I'm curious about, and I can share mine too, what you've experienced in the past around friendship, sisterhood, and like sister wounding.
Yeah. So for me, I grew up with 3 brothers. So I was just like, it was so easy for me to be like one of the boys. And I could relate to men like so easily because like I grew up with them. So once I started socializing in school with like other girls and like trying to make friendships and connections, I was constantly felt this like level of like jealousy and competition because like
within yourself or from other women?
From other women of like, I just wanted to be friends with them. And then they saw me as like a threat because like I could do something that they had no idea like how to navigate, just like even communicating with boys or like finding something to relate to.
You were more comfortable with boys than they were.
Yeah. And that's not something I realized was happening when I was that age. I was just like, why don't they want to be friends with me? Or sometimes I would like make connections with girls and then realize like that it was like for their entertainment or like it was like a popularity contest. And so like it just didn't ever feel like I could win with them. And it was much harder for me to like understand what it was to have like friendships with girls and women. And so probably in high school, I maybe had like 2 girlfriends that I was like super close to. And then the rest of the time it was just, feeling like something was missing and this longing for a connection with women. And then afterwards, like in my 20s, it was still like similar thing as like I only had one like really close best friend, and we had like a lot of, I think, the same woundings around women. And so just being able to have like a really close connection, and it felt more of like we wanted to be on the same team.
Yeah.
Than it was like, who are we trying to impress, or like what social circles are we trying to get into? And so that made like a very pivotal, we saw each other's power and we didn't see it as a threat. And that's what made it like so magical and impactful. So
what do you feel like helped you to get to that point? Did it like naturally happen? Was there like communication? Was it just like preordained? Like,
I think it was definitely preordained. But I think that's something that like was like a silent prayer that I had was to like, I just need like one good girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Like, please send it to me.
Yeah.
So really, but I didn't like really know what I was doing. And I think we started working events together. And so like, that's how our friendship bonded and grew. And like, they're very like high pressure situations.
Yeah.
So you had to learn how to trust each other, that we would like get the job done in, and like make sure that nobody knew that like something was going wrong,
Right.
because everybody's just there to have a good time.
Yeah.
So to be able to do that, and then also like have people listen to us, and that was like I think a first time for both of us, of like us telling people what to do, and they were just like, okay, these two beautiful women, okay, we'll do whatever you want.
Yeah, that's powerful. And also you were literally on the same team, like you were working on the same team, so creating the sense of that. And also it makes sense around the trust being built with a high pressure situation, because you do have to get close and rely on each other. Yeah. So that makes a lot of sense. What for me, I always had a lot of girlfriends. They were just never very like deep. Yeah. Like especially high school, college, a lot of partying, a lot of alcohol. I had great girlfriends, just none of them were very deep or very me, because I wasn't very me yet. Right. And there was always like this, and even like even in my 20s too, there was always this like fine line between like how much can I be myself before I find out that they're not okay with it. Because that was a consistent pattern for me too. Yeah. It was like, okay, we're cool. Like, you know, my pattern is choosing connection over authenticity in all my relationships. Yeah. As a way to like, you know, control a sense of safety. Yeah, we all do. Yeah, which is not real, and it's very easy to do, and we all do it. But I would have all these girlfriends, but it was like I was always walking this fine line between like, okay, we're having fun, we're connecting, but if I actually go deep, and every time I would like, you know, be like a little too weird or be a little too woo or just be more of myself, right, then there was a little bit of untangling that happened. I think, you know, for me, I had to learn how to let the majority of relationships go, not all of them. Yeah. But I had to learn that I was going to be okay totally on my own as myself and my like fullest expression, whatever it was at the time, in order to feel safe enough to show up in friendship, which was very lonely and sad, and also very, very empowering. Yeah. But, you know, I see it now as like, I don't have a million girlfriends, but I have like the girlfriends that I do have are like fucking lifetime homies, super deep. Yeah. Definitely know me, are definitely weird as fuck too. Yeah. And thank goodness we found them. Like,
it's really important to find them.
Yeah. I think that there's a lot of sisterhood wounding around like competition and around things with men. Yeah. And yeah, wanting to be the better one, or like good enough too. Yeah. Because I think that's a big one for women. And avoiding that being of too much, because that's like one of the main wounds for women.
It is a huge wound. That came up a lot in my workshop, actually, in Holy Mess, of people were like, I'm worried that I'm going to be too much for my partner, that we're in these practices, or like,
what was your advice that you gave when that came up?
So the way that I structured these practices was that the second person just like thanks them for sharing. So it was never about like, can this person can they handle it? And it's the perception that you're like handing off this weight for them to hold.
Yeah.
And really just restructuring it as like, no, they're just here to witness.
To witness you. Yeah.
And so when you reframe it as like, you're just here to witness your sister, then it was a lot easier for them to go into the sharing of like what that too much feeling was.
Mm-hmm. It's so interesting too, as you're saying that, like what came up for me too are like the poles of like anxious attachment and avoidant, where the anxious is like, oh, I don't want to be too much, but I don't want them to leave, so I'm not going to be too much. And then the avoidant is like, I fucking hope they're not too much. But it's like, if both sides take that truth of like just opening and sharing and just witnessing, like you're not actually handing anything off and you're not actually taking anything on. Like there's no burden at all.
And the other part of that like reflection from the workshop was that the woman who was just witnessing and saying thank you was like, I got this. I can hold anything. And like their perception of themselves being so strong, but not feeling like soft enough basically to be able to share all of the things that they've been holding.
Yeah.
Even though they already know they're strong because of all of their own stuff that they're holding.
Yeah. That is likely very similar flavors.
Yeah. So when they get to like mirror and reflect that to each other, then that creates that bond of like, oh, we're all struggling with the same things. Mm-hmm. And so, yes, we could help each other, but like, it's so much more efficient if we just witness each other in what we're going through instead of like trying to fix everybody's problems, because that's where like the nurturing aspect comes in, is like, oh, I'm here to fix everyone.
And what if none of it is a problem?
And say that again.
What if none of it is actually a problem?
Yeah, it's not a problem.
Not a problem to be solved. I would love too if we gave some like practical ways to start aligning, attracting just more authentic relationships for sisterhood, and also showing up more fully as ourselves. Like what I'm thinking for me is like when you have those moments of like, oh, I'm gonna collapse a little bit, I'm gonna get smaller and not be as much. Those are like the moments when you choose to be even more like full on. Because I know for me, all of my friendships that I have can handle all of me and my full onness. And if there's a moment that they can't, they're going to let me know. And it doesn't mean that I can't be full on. It just means like there's no space for it right now. But I would encourage women to be even like more full, be even more expressed, be even like, do I want to share this? This is really icky. Or do I want to be super weird? It's like, no, like be as fucking weird as you can and see if they can match you.
Right. Yeah. So besides the practice of like getting naked and telling each other our greatest fears.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good one too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Saint and I did an embodiment practice yesterday with our, one of our girlfriends that led it, and we were sitting across from each other. And eye contact is very, very intimate, but like for us, we're used to, doing those things naked. So I was like, this is less intimate than what it usually is.
Yeah.
The other thing too, I think I do feel like connecting to your sexuality, and not that you need to be naked with your girlfriends, but like it helps, but also like having those conversations around sex and sexuality, I think are very intimate, and we should be having those with women.
I would say it's really important to get naked with your girlfriends.
Okay, let's do it. It's great.
It just really...
It's very empowering.
It's empowering, and it's very like de-armoring. It's like realizing that like nobody's perfect, and our bodies are very similar, and like there's nothing wrong with our bodies.
And everyone's beautiful.
Everybody is beautiful like in their own way. And to be... It's like this conditioning of like being shameful about being naked. Mm-hmm. And at a certain age, we're taught that like, okay, you're not allowed to be naked anymore.
Isn't that so interesting?
It's very interesting.
It's like how they stopped doing lice checks. Like at what point does lice not matter when you're in school? Like at what point, what age is it start to be inappropriate to be naked?
Yeah. It's a really big one.
Yeah.
So just, really, and then you're like, okay, how do I just like casually bring up, how do I be naked with my friends? But it's more of like,
I would say get a group.
Yes, group. But like, this past summer I went on this like trip on Lake Powell, and it was a full moon. And so like all the girls and I decided to like just step away from everybody else and go and just like bathe naked underneath the moon, and realize like how like freeing and like one with nature you feel. And like nobody like prompted somebody to like do like, okay, let's reflect back to each other like how this feels.
Yeah.
But all of us having this like collective connection to nature and each other, because we were it just sets the guard down and the armor of like
incredibly vulnerable.
Yeah, very vulnerable.
I was gonna mention water too. Like I think the first place besides body work we were naked was probably a hot tub.
Yeah.
Hot tubs are a great place to start. Hot springs are a great place to start. Pool, lake.
Yeah.
I think water is very, very feminine too.
Yeah.
Being held in that way.
Yeah. So if you have to leave your clothes on and you want to do some practices, I would say if you must. The really it's taking the first step of like being vulnerable with someone and knowing that other woman might catch you or they might not. But you have yourself. And so finding whatever range of like comfort that you have, that you know you have yourself with, of like just being honest with them in your interactions of like, hey, I'm having a really rough day. And then what is your range of like vulnerability in that? Of like,
which I did this to you like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
I was like, are you open to me sharing something? I don't remember the words I used, but something that's potentially hard. Can I just dump for 10 minutes? Do you have space for that?
Yeah. And just even prompting with that of like, you didn't have to say, I don't need you to fix this because we've done this for a while, but that's a good way to start, is saying, hey, can I dump this on you? I don't need you to fix this.
I just need to be heard.
I just need to be heard and witnessed, and seeing how much more open your relationship is and that dynamic, because at the end of the day, I think we all just want to support each other. And when we have that,
that's key. We forget how many other people want to support us.
Yeah.
Like, we get so stuck on like, I want to support everyone. Like we forget like actually that's how it is for a lot of people.
That's how
they want to
everybody's
support
thinking.
us.
Yeah. So yeah, like giving yourself a pep talk of like, this person cares for me and this person wants to support me. So like give them the opportunity to show up for you. And
also tell your friends if that's true. Tell them that you care about them and you want to show up for them and that you want to support them, and ask them what kind of support they would need.
Yeah.
And then ask for what kind of support you need.
Yeah.
I was going to say too, even like eye gazing, like when we did that yesterday at my house, there were a few women that I haven't connected like super deeply with yet, but doing like the eye gazing practice, it was like 30 seconds in, like we're pretty tight now.
It's like 60 seconds.
Yeah.
A couple of rounds. And
so, hey, babe, I know we're not that close yet, but would you like to come over later and do some eye gazing?
Some eye gazing.
Because I'm looking for some intimate sisterhood.
Yeah.
But really, though, it's helpful.
It is very helpful. Yeah. And then immerse yourself into women's circles of like finding other women who desire to go deeper with themselves and the women that are in their community. That's how we met.
Totally.
We were both wanting to go deeper, and because of that, I think we've created like some of the deepest connections with women, and it's just like multiplied from there.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna reflect on next, is what do you feel like the impact has been on your life since creating more intimate, authentic relationships with women? Like, what impact has that had on you?
So for me, that would be, at a certain point, I realized like that was my purpose, was connecting women and bringing them together in their vulnerability.
Mm-hmm.
So it really changed like the whole trajectory of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And women are like the weavers. They create the community. And so when they have a strong bond and connection, it's a lot harder to break them.
Mm-hmm.
So really finding the right community for you, and finding like feeling good of like walking into events and spaces where like your women are there.
Totally.
And that makes such a big difference when you're walking through like day-to-day life and what you're trying to create here on earth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think for me what comes up too is like such a deep sense of like coming home and belonging.
Yeah, I was gonna say belonging is a big one.
Because it's interesting too, like when we're really connected to our belonging, we have such a deeper sense of safety and security,
Mm-hmm.
and ability to show up vulnerably and to like deeply know ourselves and to know and honor our value.
Yeah.
Like when we don't fully have our belonging, we're not going to feel safe and secure moving through the world as our full selves. And we're not really going to be moving through the world as an embodiment of our highest value.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really, really, really big, I think. And I think too, through sisterhood, because of the nature of the feminine and women and as powerful creators, like that's when everything becomes possible, is when you have really powerful women together, which I know is kind of scary for
a lot of people.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, what intention do you have, or what do you have coming up, if anything at all, as far as offerings for women?
Mm-hmm.
And your work?
Yeah. So the biggest thing with my work is like a lot of shame that comes up for women of like having desires instead of being a martyr.
Yeah.
So even with my own like lived experience of like, what does that mean? So I have
This was a big one for me too.
Yeah.
Shame around needs and desires.
Yeah.
Even like fucking basic needs. Basic ass needs.
Yeah.
I think a lot of women have that. So this is big.
Yeah. And also like putting other people's needs ahead of yours.
Mm-hmm.
And thinking that like somebody will like you more if you put their needs in front of yours. But I have found out that people really like you when you tell them what you need. And they're like, oh, this person knows what,
It makes it easier for them because people love you and people want to support you. Just tell them what they need to do.
Yeah. Boundaries let people love you more.
Yeah.
So I have a 90-minute somatic ritual called the Good Girl Paradox, because everybody wants to be called a good girl, but nobody wants to actually be a good girl. So how do we be the paradox and be both at the same time? It has some great somatic practices at the end of how to like fully embody that, and learning how to hold your boundaries and for them to feel good and actually integrated instead of like something that you practice and rehearse. And you can find it if you DM me on Instagram. You can get that for free.
We'll put your Instagram handle in the show notes. What would your heaven on earth look like?
Oh,
I imagine it's probably going to be fun.
It's really fun. I was like, I feel like I'm experiencing
like
that right now. But
trampolines and like fire.
Lots of fire.
Everyone's naked.
Everyone's naked. There's lots of fire. I feel like I've done a really good job at creating that, and also very excited to see like the next level of like what that could be. So heaven on earth is people sharing their feelings and needs in real time. to be able to make everybody feel held and supported. And once you create that level of like safety and containment with each other, that's when like the real play comes along, and you can actually talk about what those desires are, and like from a metaphysical level, the fire, and like from an actual level or physical level of like playing with fire, and passion is included in that. And people like not being ashamed of like what their desires are. So any types of like kinks and fetishes that may arise from that, because ultimately it's an alchemy of like our pain. And that's really where we're trying to like move the collective consciousness is like, how do we not exactly get rid of pain, but how do we release like suffering from pain?
I love that.
Yeah.
Existential kink that shit.
Yeah. That's heaven on earth.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. Anything else you would like to share as far as offerings or anything else that's feeling like very alive within you, or what you're excited about?
I do one-on-one sessions. I do mentorship and body work, and this year I will have a group container, just so it's because I feel like it's so important that women witness each other, and there's such like a bigger magic when there's a lot of witches in the cauldron. Yeah.
In person, one-on-one stuff too.
Yeah.
Do at my house.
Yes.
We'll do it. Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I love spending time with you.
I love spending time with you too, North Node Cap.